we like to keep the spaces between our lines consistent. So here you can clearly see the space between lines 18 and 20 is greater than between, say, 11 and 12. Less obvious is that there's also more space between lines 14 and 15, where LaTeX has pushed the lines apart to accommodate the excessively tall superscript. And that kind of thing might be difficult to catch on a read-through. So to avoid overlooking any such instances, what we do is temporarily adjust the line skip. This has a default value of 1 point, that is, LaTeX pushes the lines apart so that there's at least 1 point between a superscript and the preceding line. And then if we increase this value to 50 points, there's no way you're going to miss that on a read-through. So then, having identified an issue, we can address it. One way might be to use smash, which reduces the height and the depth of its contents to 0. Here we can see the lines are now appropriately far apart, but there is some interline collision, which we obviously want to avoid. And then a little experimentation reveals that a suitably placed tie between two words earlier in the paragraph adjusts a line break earlier in the text and rearranges the paragraph ever so slightly, and thus nudges the superscript to a more acceptable position. The next issue we can see is that inline matrix. We can try smashing this also, but there's no way that any text rearrangement is going to avoid collision here. So we take it out of the array environment and use atops, which are a little neater. Notice here that this actually transposes the matrix, so I'll compile that just to show, and then of course remember to switch the T and the OR. The parentheses here are still a little large because the authors have used left and right instead of specifying sizes, and we prefer to specify our own sizes because LaTeX tends to be a little generous. Furthermore, left and right add extra spacing, which we don't want. So I'll replace those here by specifying big parentheses. There, that's much neater. And then of course there are some displays that all the will in the world isn't going to make fit. So we display those and leave a marginal comment for the author. Finally, we remove the line skip, and if we zoom out we can see all the spacing between the lines seems consistent and there are no interline collisions, etc.